Hey, what's going on, my friends, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today I'm going to share with you 5 things I think you should know about this very powerful month ahead, December of 2022. This is going to be an Ascension energy update for the whole month of December. Number 1, trampoline experiences. What I mean by that is a lot of times, as someone who's going through a spiritual awakening, as you may have already learned, we will attract into our life situations that initially seem bad for ourself, for our life, but in the end up serving us massively. That's where I got the term trampoline experience. It's kind of like a trampoline emotion. Maybe you've noticed this in your own spiritual awakening already, where you go through kind of a period of like what people call the dark night of the soul, and you're feeling vulnerable, and you're feeling insecure, and you're feeling depressed, whatever, unpleasant emotions of any kind will suffice for this scenario. But in the end, you learn something about yourself. You discover what you're made of, and it allows you to go through life in a better, more expanded way. And even though temporarily you felt like your world's crumbling, it led to this huge, worthwhile expansion emotionally. And that's kind of what I mean by trampoline experience. And for us to benefit from these little blessings, from these prayers being answered from the universe, we do, however, have to go through life with an open mind. We have to look beneath the surface of the things, the situations happening in our life, and constantly be asking, how is this serving me? How can this benefit me? What am I learning? Why did I attract this? Sometimes we attract something into our life just to show us that this is what you're putting out. Do you like it? No, I don't like it. Well, stop putting that out there. What are you doing to draw this into your life, this toxic person, this relationship, this whatever, this financial crisis? Why have I attracted this? Oh, sometimes these problems are clues that point to why we're creating it in the first place. And oftentimes it's some kind of unresolved issue. It's something unconscious. It's our conditioning, our trauma, something. And these little problems are just there to reflect that, to let us know there's something going on the inside that we'd benefit from knowing. So at the very least, we can stop putting it out there. And in that light, it serves us. But again, it requires a very open mind, someone who takes responsibility for everything, not just the good, but everything in their life. And if you find yourself attracting these things into your life, good. They're literally there to help you bounce up. That's hence the name trampoline experience. You come down temporarily, at least it seems, only so you can bounce up way higher than you were before. Number 2, it's a time to venture into the unknown. It's a time to trust the unknown. Not easy for most people to do. I know. But you just might find yourself inspired to take a leap of faith that doesn't make sense just yet, that has no real guarantee. In fact, you might feel guided to take a leap of faith, having almost no idea what it's going to result in. And sometimes what creates this, what feels like an inevitable choice to go into the unknown, is something not working in our life. Something that has been working, was good, and all of a sudden it's just not doing the same. It's not producing it the same. You're not relating to it in the same way. And you know that, this thing is decaying, this career, this situation is just not working anymore. But just the awareness of that implies, well, what next? What do I do instead? You don't know. And it's scary, it's uncomfortable, and yet that's where we really can tap into more of our potential, more of an outcome that's not so limited based upon our past, who we used to be, who we used to think we were, what we used to think was our potential. It's bigger than that. Your potential is bigger than you can even really see. And that's why it's the unknown. You don't know what you're capable of just yet. You don't know the depth of your power. You don't know just how awesome your life can get. So you got to go into the unknown to uncover it. Leading me to point number 3. It's a time to stay focused. And it's very difficult to stay focused when you're in the unknown. Because when we're in the unknown, we feel vulnerable. When we're in the unknown, we feel like afraid in our life, afraid in our relationships. We feel kind of insecure. And what happens when we're feeling those energies, which are so uncomfortable for most people, we go and distract ourselves. We eat ice cream every night. One of the things I'll do is I'll just go online and check all my different social media accounts, trying to find safety and security in all my online business, basically. In the past, I would eat a bunch of I would always talk about it too. I would eat sugar. I'd binge out on junk food and I'd have waffles as an example, because eating waffles, all that sugar, it's in the moment I'm not thinking about my problems. In the moment I'm feeling flooded with dopamine and not feeling vulnerable in the unknown. But the problem is, in order for us to function in the unknown, we have to be sharp. We have to be tapped in. We have to be in touch with our inner being, our intuition, because that is how we navigate the unknown. That is how we are able to perceive the little specks of guidance. It's how we can feel the degree of vibrational compatibility and all the different options. We can intuit our way through the unknown. But for that, we have to be sharp. We have to be tapped in. So you might find yourself already attracting what you need in your life so that you can be more sharp, more intuitive, more grounded, more present. For me, I started reading this book. It's called Stolen Focus, and it's all about, I don't want to get it. I decided I'm not going to just get into what the whole book's about. That would be a tangent. But anyway, for me, Stolen Focus is about helping us understand why humanity is so unfocused and helping me understand what I can do, different changes I can make in my life that can help me be more present, more focused. I'm able to focus for longer periods of time. And reading the book, it's enjoyable to me. It's exciting. It came upon from a friend recommending it to me, so it fell into my lap, you could say. So the point is, you're already probably attracting what it is you need to help you function in the unknown. Maybe you got a postcard in the mail saying, hey, there's a new Bikram yoga studio opening down the road. Do that, and I guarantee you'll learn to be focused and present. You have to be to sustain that challenging yoga workout. But regardless, it's a time to understand that even though there's so much potential in the unknown, it is very important that, again, we stay sharp, because when we're feeling vulnerable and when our fears are up at the surface, we can get into our head and sort of spiral downward very quickly. And this happened to me years ago when I was transitioning in my career. I was going into the unknown. Won't go into the whole story, but I would literally wake up sometimes with just so much anxiety, and it would literally make me feel like I can't even get off the couch. I just felt so bogged down by the nervousness of being so deeply in the unknown. So I realized I have to get up and do a morning routine. I have to wake up and do yoga and breath work, and I had a vision board, and I visualized and I meditated. I had to do those things to be able to return back to the part of me that knows everything's good, that knows the way, that knows what to do in each and every moment. In the unknown, we can sometimes attract circumstances into our life that trigger us, that trigger our deep insecurities, that trigger our deep vulnerability, that trigger our core wounds, essentially. And it's like, man, why does life have to sometimes stack itself to make it so hard? And a lot of times, I'm not implying that disaster's looming over your shoulders. A lot of it's more so just emotionally. A lot of it's like nothing crazy happening in your life where you're really in danger at all, but it might be like a heated conflict with a close friend that creates that brings all this stuff up. It could be just like, I don't know, it could be like you do something at work and your boss gives you this look of disapproval, and that look, it just pierces you to the core and reminds you of how mom used to look at you when you showed her your drawings, and it brings up all this stuff. But in confronting that, that's all within us. Whether we manifest it in the moment or not, it's within us, unresolved traumas, issues, etc., and it's limiting us. It's making it very difficult to understand our power and potential in this lifetime. So sometimes as we go into the unknown, we're kind of raising our frequency, kicking up these unresolved deposits of denser energy, and they play out temporarily in our reality, all because it helps us uncover what's beneath that. In the end, we find that these traumas, these insecurities, these vulnerabilities, they're not who we are at the core. They're who we have become programmed to be based upon our unique life path. But it's currently gonna limit us going forward. So it's important we become aware and let it go. And in doing so, it's not only that you get to liberate yourself from these energies forever and get to enjoy an expanded version of yourself for the rest of your days here on earth, but there's also this awareness, this witnessing of ourself. There's this recognition of our power, this awareness that, oh, this is who I actually am. This is what I'm actually made of. So when big opportunities come our way, we don't shy away because we know on a very permanent, visceral level that I got this. And this feeling of I got this isn't because of any circumstance in your life. It's not because of validation you've received from the external reality. It's more of a internal awareness of what you're truly composed of, this power, this frequency, this love, this soul, this eternal soul essence that you're now more in touch with. And you get to take that with you into the unknown. You get to take that with you as you manifest these expanded versions of your reality. But it's not fun. It's not easy. I remember one time when I've told this story a couple of times, where I was, my entire family and I, we moved into a 21-foot RV. We sold our house, sold all our belongings. I moved myself, my wife, my 3 kids, a dog and a cat into a 21-foot travel trailer, and we moved across the country from Michigan all the way to San Diego to pursue my unknown, to pursue my purpose. And I felt so inspired to do that. As crazy as that all sounds, I knew in my heart that was the right move to make. But I found myself about halfway. We left in November, and we found ourselves about halfway from Michigan to San Diego in the middle of a blizzard in the mountains. And already I was sort of uncomfortable driving this big freaking thing behind me, this 21-foot travel trailer. Makes the car kind of shaky. And there was nowhere to go because you can't just pull over and use your RV in the winter because the pipes will freeze. And we looked on our GPS or our phone, the weather, and it was just gonna get worse. And I found myself late at night, the kids are sleeping, going up and down the mountain at like 20 miles an hour. There's like big cars spun off on the road. It didn't look like by choice. It looks like they just spun themselves off. And I'm thinking, what the hell have I done? What have I done? I had this internal freak out. But because of the circumstance, I had to continue. I couldn't just stop. I couldn't turn around. There was no house to go home to. I couldn't pull over. It was just going to get worse. I had to just grip that wheel like a freaking maniac and at 23 miles an hour go up and down these mountains, just staying present, staying in the moment. And would I want to do that again? No. But in enduring that, I was able to reveal to myself that I can handle things like that. And that it breeds an authentic confidence in yourself that is invaluable, that you might be able to experience right now. And you get to reap these benefits from anything, whether you're doing something crazy like I did, or just something small in your life provoking big emotions. Either way, With this awareness, what I just said, you can learn a lot about yourself in the process, and that never goes away. That awareness of your power never goes away. And number 5, finally, doing something new and exciting next year. A lot of this transition is leading to you not so much necessarily even changing your life circumstance, even though that's definitely on the table. It's more so having a new deeper level, a new deeper level of your self-expression, your creative self, where you're putting your energy, where you're putting your focus into what you're creating in your life. You're going to start to be able to pull from that power, that newly uncovered power. You get to pull from the depth of what you're truly made of, and you get to express that out there in the world. And it might be different. It might be a different type of expression, a different career maybe as an example, than what you're normally accustomed to. And that also could be scary. But at the same time, you have to do this because you're ready. Because you've already made the inner changes and are continuing to at this very moment, that if you just try to take this new you and do what you've always done in the past, it's not going to work. It's going to feel unsatisfying. You'll feel probably a lack of support from the universe. And it's because it's time that the universe wants something different from you now at this point. Because now they've upgraded themselves internally. They're changed. They're actually ready. They're actually able to do this new exciting thing. I know their mind doesn't know because they haven't done it yet. It's the unknown yet again. But we know, it knows that it's time. The time is ripe, whether you feel ready or think you're ready or not. But if you can do all the things I said, staying focused, being disciplined, meditate, whatever you got to do to be in touch with that power, that part of yourself that knows, and the willingness to really take responsibility for all the problems in your life, knowing you attracted them just to learn and grow, if you can be empowered and not slip into the victim mentality, and if you can just trust yourself in the unknown, then you will be able to probably be very surprised at just what you can create in this next year.